Hi, this is Paula J from CQURE, delivering another episode of CQURE Hacks Weekly. And today we're going to be talking about protection of the SQL Server backups. Well, this subject is particularly interesting because every single time we deliver pen tests, that is actually a problem. Yes, because we are able to find unencrypted SQL Server backups in different kinds of network shares. Well, there's actually quite an interesting story related with that because the recent pen tests we've been doing, for example, it was at the hospital and there was like a little kiosks where we were able to get access to, take over the kiosk. And that particular user over there was a regular domain user, and that domain user could access unencrypted SQL Server backups. And someone like absolutely from the outside was able to get access to all the data that was related with patient information. So you could literally check what are the different sicknesses of different kinds of people. So that's not something that we want to deal with. Today I'm with Mike, and Mike is a member of CQURE team, a fantastic SQL Server and SQL Server security specialist.
Today I will show you how to encrypt your database backups and why it's so important, and what you can do and what you cannot do with those backups after that. I hope you will join us for the full episode, and let's get started.
So, let's start by describing a little bit of our environment. So here we have SQL02 virtual machine, and we have also another virtual machine which is called SQL01. On both of those virtual machines we have SQL Server installed, the newest version of SQL Server. On this one we have Enterprise version, and on the other one we have Express Edition. So we will be creating an encrypted backup from the Enterprise Edition, and we'll be restoring it on the Express Edition. So first, let's see. On the SQL02 I have database which is called CQURE. Inside this database I have table, very simple table. Right click on it and select 1000 rows. Let's close it. I have in security user Bob have permission on this table to select the records from it. Bob is mapped to the user, the user Bob is mapped to the login, that's also called Bob, but remember this is on the server level. When we are going to create a backup and restore it on the different server, you need to remember that we are backing up only the information that are under the node of the database. So everything that is below here is in the backup file. So when I will be moving it, I will be moving all the database tables, also storage procedure and any other objects, as well with the permissions and of course the users. The part which I'm not moving is actually the security level of the server, so logins. But this does not concern this topic. Let's create a simple backup. First I will create a folder in which I will be storing those backups on my drive here, folder CQ backup. In this folder I will create just simple backup task, backup. This is the old and default medium, so I remove it, add a new one, so I can browse for it. CQ backup, CQURE.back. I select copy only. Okay. So inside this folder I have my CQURE.back. I can copy it and go to another server which is called SQL01. I will create on the C drive of this server new folder CQ restore, just to have different names on different servers. Okay, so I copied and pasted the file to the second server. I will not switch to the second server on the remote desktop connection. I will just connect using SQL Server Management Studio to different server. So let's choose it. The second server is the instance is named instance, so I need to provide the name of the instance after the backslash after the name of the host on which it's hosted. So connect, and every time we are working with the different database servers on single SQL Server Management Studio, remember to verify on which node you are currently working. So on the top I have SQL02, the source of my database backup, and on the bottom I have SQL01, which is actually the destination in which I'm going to restore the database. To simply restore the database, right-click on the databases, restore the database, choose the device, and add the device file, which is actually CQURE restore, CQURE back. So you see here we have backup media, and we can see the backup of the database CQURE, and the destination will be CQURE database on the new server. I will choose to relocate all the files to be on the safe side and click OK. So I see here the CQURE database, all the tables. Of course, right click on it, select top 1000 rows, displays me also the same information. If you want to verify on which server you are currently working on this new tab here which appeared, verify at the bottom which server it is, who is the login you are using currently, and what is the database inside this server. So this is secure database on the SQL01. So I will close it. I will also remove this database, delete, and close existing connections to this database. Okay, so I removed the database from SQL01, and as you've seen, I'm able to restore the database just simply without providing any passwords, anything. I need to have the file access to it. So how to prevent the database backup files? So they contain all the data, your precious data that you want to protect, and to do it, just simply let's encrypt the backup. Of course, you can also store the backup files in secure location. This is a very good solution, but still, usually when we are doing the penetration tests, we are finding those backups laying around on some work folders, temp folders, sometimes desktops, and or even on the removable media that we can find around the workplace. So it's always nice to have a backup that is encrypted. So when I want to create a backup in tasks, backup, to encrypt the backup, I need to go to backup options and select encryption here. I will need to choose certificate or asymmetric key to perform the backup. Currently, I do not have any certificates on my server, so I will create a new one. I'm currently connected to SQL2, you can verify it on the bottom, and I will use master database. So I switch to my master database, and now I'll try to create a certificate, and let's see what will happen. Please create master key in the database or open master key in this session. So I need to have a master key for the database. Actually, it's for the master database. So I will create it, also encrypted by password, and this is the password which I will be using. This is master key, so master database master key, and this key is also encrypted by using service master key, which is created during the installation of the SQL Server instance, and it's protected by the Windows Data Protection API. So let's create the master database key, execute. Now I will be able to create this certificate, but it is always nice to have a backup of the master key that I just created. I need to create the master key only once, so if it's already created, you do not need to recreate it. So let's make a backup of this master key. I will be placing it in the same folder, but of course it's not the best solution to have the database master key or the backup of the certificates stored together with the backups. Of course they are protected with password, but it is as strong as the password, so we can use the brute force attack on it. Execute. Okay, so I have this file called mmk.key, and I also will create the backup service master key. This is also nice to have, so we can verify how to do it. Execute. This service master key is also protected with the password, and I'm using this one. So now I can create a certificate because I already have the database master key. I need to provide only the subject for which I'm creating the certificate, so I do not need to provide the validation period. I do not need to have the encryption algorithm. This will be by default set, but of course if you want to modify those options, you can search for the documentation and verify all the switches that you need to provide, all the options that you need to provide for this command. But this one is the simplest. So I created a certificate called CQURE Backup Encryption Certificate, and now I want to backup this file, because if I want to restore the backup that will be encrypted by using this certificate, then of course I need to import the certificate for the new server that I will be using. So I will create a backup of the certificate. I need to provide the file name for the certificate backup, and also, what is most important, the file for storing the private key for this certificate. So it will be also encrypted with the password. Let's create a backup. Okay, and it is there. Let's verify what we have right now. We have unencrypted backup. We have the certificate backup file. We have the private key for the certificate. We have master database master key, and we have the service master key. Those two are not necessarily for the restore of the encrypted backup, but those two files are very important for us currently. So let's create a backup of the CQURE database, which will be using the encryption backup. I will create the backup in the new file, CQ backup, CQ maybe encrypted back. Okay. In media option, I need to set that this is the new media set. Otherwise, I will not be able to use CQURE. Otherwise, I will be not be able to use encryption backup, encrypt backup. I can choose different algorithms here, and I will use this certificate for the encryption and click OK. The backup is successfully created. Let's copy the files to the new server. So I will need the CQURE back certificate, and I will need this encrypted backup. So I'm copying it. Continue. Okay. I can see the certificate if I double click on it and verify what is inside of this certificate. the close. So in the certificate, I see that it's not trusted because the root CA is not trusted, and it was issued to the CQURE backup encryption cert, issued by, so it's self-signed. It's valid for 1 year. This is the default. In the certification path, you see it's self-signed certificate. So let's switch to the SQL 01 and try to restore the database. So on the databases, restore the database from the device. And now let's select the file. We are doing the same way we were doing with the unencrypted backup. So in the CQ restore, this time I'm using encrypted.back. This is just the name of the file. Okay. And now, as you can see, I do not see any options to restore from the backup set. Okay, let's try to do it with the command. On the SQL01, you can see it's here, SQL01. I will try to restore header only, so I will try to see what is inside of this file with the backup. Okay, the name of the file is changed. Let's see, it's restore currently. Okay, now cannot find server certificate with the thumbprint. So this time I have more meaningful information than using GUI, where there was no information at all about the certificates, but I couldn't restore the database because I haven't seen the content of the encrypted backup. So let's try to restore the certificate used for an encryption. So here, restore. This is the folder. Okay. And in the master database, I will create the certificate for CQ, backup encryption certificate, from the file. So I'm using the same files that I copied to the new server and the same password I used for encryption of the key. Okay, it's requiring me to create a master key for the database because I haven't created it before. So I will create a new master key. Of course, after this operation, I should backup it and store it securely. But for the demo purpose, I will not do it right now. Let's go and create the certificate again. Okay, certificate created successfully. Let's try to see the content of the encrypted backup. Now I see that there is a backup of the database named CQURE. Let's try to restore it. Again, restore from the device. Encrypted file. In the files, I will relocate all the files. Okay, and the backup was restored successfully. I can see the content and select 1000 rows. And you can see it's from the SQL01. You need to remember that the database, it's not encrypted itself, but the backup file is encrypted, and you need to have access to this certificate to restore the database backup. So now the backups are safe and we can focus on different part of protecting our SQL Server. One more thing to remember when you are restoring the databases on different servers. You will see here in the database, secure database, that we have the user Bob and we have the same information that he has access to the employees tables with the select statement. But when we go to General, we will see that there is SQL user without a login. So after restoring the database to the different server, we need to remap the user to different login. Otherwise, we cannot use it. To do it, remember to change the database, use CQURE. Okay, so we are in the secure database on SQL 01. And now one command to issue is exec sp change user login. We need to set up the action user login update 1 Bob and the login name from the new server. Actually, on this server we have the same login name. You can see it here on the level of the server, logins, and this is the login Bob. So after we execute it, we can verify that in the security of user Bob inside the CQURE database, Bob is again mapped with the login name Bob. And we can successfully use the login Bob to access this table, as on the previous server. That's all.
Okay guys, so this is how you can encrypt and protect your backups. But remember, you can do also encryption inside the database, for example, transparent data encryption, and protects actual data that are stored in tables, not necessarily only backups. But I think this is for some other episode.
Okay guys, so I hope it was interesting for you. Don't forget to make some comments about our content. Tell us if you like it or if you didn't, but we hope you did. And definitely let's get into a discussion because SQL Server is a very wide subject. And post a comment under our blog post and on our Facebook. Bye.
Bye.